The biggest AI shift this week was not another chatbot getting smarter, it was money. For the last few years, most people have thought about AI as something you talk to. You ask it a question, it gives an answer. You ask it to summarize something, it summarizes. You ask it for ideas, it gives ideas. But a different version of AI is starting to appear. An AI that does not just answer, an AI that can act. And the moment AI can act with money, the whole story changes. Because now we are not just talking about better search, better writing, or better productivity. We are talking about an assistant that could buy something, pay for something, trade something, or trigger a transaction inside limits that you set. That is why this story matters. In the last couple of weeks, 3 major names pushed this idea forward. Coinbase announced Coinbase for Agents. The simple version is that an AI agent can connect to a Coinbase account and trade, pay, or run workflows within limits the user controls. Mastercard announced Agent Pay for Machines. That is a payment system built for agents, machines, services, and businesses that may need to transact at machine speed. Visa announced a partnership with OpenAI to bring Visa payments into OpenAI experiences. The Associated Press reported that ChatGPT agents could recommend products and complete purchases, with guardrails like spending limits, approval steps, and approved merchants. That is a lot of corporate language, so let me say it in plain English. The AI assistant is starting to get a wallet, not full control, not unlimited power, not something you should blindly trust, but the infrastructure is being built. And the everyday question is simple. Would you ever let an AI assistant spend real money for you? Because that sounds convenient for about 3 seconds. Then your brain starts asking the real questions. What if it buys the wrong thing? What if it spends too much? What if a scam tricks it? What if you approve something without fully understanding it? What if nobody knows who is responsible when the agent makes a mistake? That is the new AI conversation. Not just, can the model answer better? But, should the model be allowed to act? And if it acts, how much control should it get? That is what makes this story bigger than a shopping feature. When AI only gives advice, the worst case is usually a bad answer. That can still matter. It can still waste time. It can still mislead people. But when AI gets permission to move money, the stakes change. A bad answer becomes a bad action. A misunderstood instruction becomes a purchase. A weak permission system becomes a financial risk. So the real story is not that AI can spend money. The real story is that companies are now building the permission layer for AI to spend money. That layer decides what an agent is allowed to do, how much it is allowed to spend, which merchants it can use, whether the user has to approve the action, and how easy it is to shut the whole thing off. That is the part normal people need to watch, because the future of AI assistants will not be decided only by how smart they are. It will be decided by how much power we give them. And money is one of the clearest tests of that power. And this is not coming from one tiny startup with a wild demo. That is what makes the moment worth watching. Coinbase is a major crypto platform. Mastercard and Visa are 2 of the biggest payment networks on Earth. OpenAI is one of the companies that made everyday people familiar with chat-based AI in the first place. So when these names all start building around agent payments at the same time, the signal is bigger than one product launch. It says the industry is preparing for a world where AI assistants do not just help people decide, they help people transact. That is the line we are crossing. And for AIRealm, that is the story. Not one feature, not one coin, not one payment rail. The story is the shift from an AI that suggests to an AI that can execute. The easiest way to understand this is to separate advice from action. Advice is when AI says, here are 3 pairs of headphones under $150. Action is when AI says, I found the pair that matches your request. Here is the total. Here is the merchant. Here is the delivery date. Do you want me to buy it? That second version feels different because it is different. The first one is information. The second one touches your money. That is why payments companies care so much about this. Visa is not only thinking about a chatbot that recommends products. Visa is thinking about a world where an AI agent can help finish the transaction through a trusted payment network. Mastercard is not only thinking about a human clicking buy. Mastercard is preparing for agents and machines that need to pay for services automatically in the background of digital commerce. Coinbase is not only thinking about a person opening an app and placing a trade. Coinbase is building tools where an AI agent can connect to an account and execute trading or payment workflows inside user-controlled limits. This is the bigger shift. AI is moving from the passenger seat toward the driver's seat for certain tasks. And that means the old AI advice does not fully work anymore. When AI only gives an answer, you mostly worry about accuracy. When AI can act, you also worry about permission. This is where the sports car analogy matters. A powerful AI tool is the engine. The permissions are the keys. The spending limit is the speed limit. The approval screen is the brake pedal. If you hand the keys to the car and remove the brakes, you are not using AI well. You are just hoping nothing goes wrong. But if you keep the speed limit low, keep the approval screen on, and only let the assistant drive in a tiny safe zone, the idea becomes more reasonable. For example, imagine you tell an AI assistant, "I always buy the same dishwasher pods. If the price is under $25, find the best option from this approved store and show me the order before buying." That is not the same as saying, "Here is my card. Buy whatever you think I need." One version is a controlled assistant. The other version is chaos with a friendly voice. And that difference is everything. The useful version is narrow. The risky version is broad. A narrow agent can help with routine tasks. A broad agent can make mistakes at scale. So what could actually be useful here? The first realistic use case is routine shopping. Things you already buy, household items, office supplies, pet food, simple replacements. Stuff where the decision is not emotional, expensive, or complicated. The second use case is business purchasing. A small business owner might tell an agent to buy a domain, pay for a hosting plan, or purchase a basic service inside a set budget. That matters because Mastercard described a similar kind of idea. A business gives an agent a goal, a budget, and a set of approved actions. Then the agent can complete a chain of purchases needed for the job. The third use case is digital services. Agents may need to pay for data, tools, software access, compute, research, or small services while completing a larger task. That is why machine speed payments matter. A human does not want to approve 100 tiny payments for an agent that is doing a complex job. But a human also does not want an agent quietly leaking money in the background. That is the tension. Convenience wants fewer interruptions. Safety wants more checkpoints. And the correct answer is probably different depending on the amount of money involved. For tiny payments, strict limits and logs might be enough. For anything meaningful, the user should still see the exact details first. The best consumer version of this probably starts boring. Not with an AI managing your whole financial life. Not with an AI buying a car. Not with an AI moving large amounts of money. It starts with small repeatable tasks where the user knows the boundaries before the agent acts. That is the difference between useful automation and handing over control. This is where the story gets serious. AI can help automate money-related actions, but it should not get broad financial control without clear limits, visible approvals, and a way to shut it off instantly. That is the safety idea in one sentence. Do not start with trust. Start with boundaries. A good AI money agent should have spending limits. A good AI money agent should show transaction previews. A good AI money agent should only work with approved merchants or approved categories. A good AI money agent should keep a log of every action. A good AI money agent should be easy to pause or disconnect. And most importantly, a good AI money agent should ask for confirmation before anything important happens. The scary version is not an AI assistant buying one pack of paper towels after showing you the total. The scary version is an agent with vague instructions, wide permissions, and no clear human checkpoint. That is where scams, prompt attacks, wrong purchases, and responsibility problems become serious. Because if an agent buys the wrong item, who is responsible? You, the AI company, the payment network, the merchant, the developer who built the agent? Those answers are still being worked out. The technology is moving faster than the social rules around it. And that is why I would not think about this as a simple good or bad story. It is more like a new category of trust. We already trust software with parts of money. AutoPay handles bills. Subscriptions renew without asking us every month. Banking apps send alerts. Trading apps execute orders. Payment networks block suspicious activity. So it is not completely new to let software touch money. What is new is letting an AI agent make flexible decisions inside that system. AutoPay does the same thing on a schedule. An AI agent can interpret a goal. That is powerful. It is also the dangerous part, because goals can be misunderstood. A human might say, "Find me a cheap flight," but cheap could mean the lowest price, or it could mean reasonable luggage rules, or it could mean no overnight layover, or it could mean do not arrive at 2 in the morning. Money agents will need to understand preferences, context, and constraints, and if they do not, the user needs a final checkpoint before the purchase becomes real. That is why the best version of this future probably looks boring on purpose. Small limits, clear approvals, separate wallets, specific permissions, full logs, instant shutdown. That is what makes the technology usable, not hype, not magic, control. The biggest mistake would be treating an AI money agent like a trusted person before it has earned trust. The better way is to treat it like a powerful tool with a very small sandbox. Let it prove itself on tiny tasks. Watch every action, keep the limits low, and never confuse convenience with safety. That is also the thing I want normal people to understand before the hype gets louder. You do not have to reject the idea completely. You also do not have to accept the most aggressive version. There is a middle path. Read-only first, tiny limits second, approval screens third, more trust only after the system proves itself. That is how this kind of AI should earn its place in everyday life. So yes, your AI assistant is starting to get the ability to spend real money, but the real question is not whether it can. The real question is whether it can do it inside rules that keep you in control. That is the story in AIRealm. AI is moving from answers to actions. And once those actions touch money, the guardrails matter just as much as the intelligence. Drop your thoughts below. What is the smallest money task you would actually let an AI handle for you if it showed you the exact details first and stayed under a limit you set? And if your answer is absolutely nothing, I get that too. Because this is one of those AI changes where excitement and caution should probably arrive at the same time.